Hello, welcome back to the programme. We're still bowled over by Harry in the tank top. He absolutely conquered me, and there's been a clamour from viewers and from listeners. I'm not the absolute lines have lit up saying we want Harry back. What day is it today? Thursday. Every Thursday for a fashion item with Harry, and we're going to do that. We're going to rev that up for you so that every single week we can keep ahead of the fashion throng with Harry, and that I can't wait. Right, now, let's talk about toast, which is made from beans. So I'm not saying beans on toast. I think I'm saying beans are toast. Why am I saying it? Well, why don't we find out from the lovely Dr. Julie Lovegrove, who is of course somebody with nominative determinism, a lovely person with a name called Lovegrove. Hello there. Are you there, Julie?
Hello, Vanessa.
Hello. How nice to have you on the show. Tell me about why we're talking about beans are toast, not beans on toast.
Yeah, thank you. We're doing a project at the University of Reading where we're looking at changing the health of the UK diet by increasing the pulse consumption or beans in our diet. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do this by changing the bread, substituting some of the wheat flour for beans. And we're looking particularly at broad beans, also known as fava beans. So, as you say, beans in toast rather than beans
in toast, a nice glass of Chianti, and there we are. We're having dinner with Hannibal Lecter. I'm sure everybody has said that. So does this bread exist already? Have you managed to make it into bread yet?
Yeah, we've done some pilot work. It's just the start of a 3-year study, but we've done some pilot work where we've substituted about 25% of the wheat flour, which is relatively low in nutrients, with our fava bean and flour, which is high nutrition, having higher protein and iron, and also higher in fibre. We found that this bread is more nutritious, but it also has a beneficial impact on the environment because growing fava beans have benefits in relation to the ability they have to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere by the bacteria in the roots, improving the soil health, but also reducing the requirement for nitrogen fertilizers when we grow fava beans.
And do we grow them easily in this country? Do they flourish in our climate?
They do, yeah. We grow them in the UK to quite a lot of them, and about 300 farms in the UK grow fava beans, but actually the majority of them go to animal feed. So what we're trying to do is to use these sustainably grown crops in the human diet, in our diet, so we can improve the nutrition of the food we eat, our staple food, bread, and also help the environment as well.
And Julie, have you actually eaten any of it?
Yes, we have. In fact, we had a tasting session this morning.
How was it? What does it taste like?
Well, it was delicious, actually. It was very similar to white bread. We're using white bread because the majority of the population eat white bread. In fact, 96% of the population eat bread. And the taste was very similar, and the colour was very similar. So, yeah, it was...
I imagine they'd be sort of green. I thought they'd be nice green slices of Mother's Pride, and they'll be just kind of green and beanish looking, but they're not. They just look like ordinary white bread. So when do we get to eat them? When do we get to try them?
Well, as I say, the project's 3 years, so we're going to try and ensure that we develop a bread that is identical really in every other way, but the nutritional content than the white bread, so that everyone will consume this and get the benefits from it.
All right, well, we encourage you, Julie, in your work. I hope you'll report back to us in about 6 months and tell us how it's going. And I hope you'll come in live and bring me a sandwich, because I'm starving. Nobody ever gives me any food. And I'd love to try a fava bean and Chianti feast with you live in the studio. So when you've got some bread fit to sample, come in. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you on the programme. Now, joining me here is Josh Rom, who is the host of the Sun Awards Watch, which is a really big deal. There are many awards to watch.
Yeah, there are indeed many awards to watch, but to be honest, I don't know how on earth I'm going to follow Mr. Harry Jackson with that fashion item. I mean, unbelievable. Talk about red carpet fashion right there.
Superb,
and his analysis of it, unbelievable.
I know. And wait till they put us back in the TV studio, which is only going to be in 3 months. I'm going to have a catwalk put in for him. I'm going to have him walking up and down the thing.
I look forward to it.
I know, and I'm not just saying, if I say it, you know, I always keep my word. Now, Josh, where do we start? Do we start with Alec Baldwin, who's been charged?
Yes, huge news today.
Yeah.
So Alec Baldwin has been charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter over in the US for that high-profile shooting that occurred on the set of the film Rust back in October of 2021. Prosecutors from the District Attorney's Office over in New Mexico have made several statements talking about why they've come to this decision. They said that safety regulations were fast and loose on the set. They say there appears that there was negligence on that set. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armourer on the set, has also been charged, the same as Alec Baldwin, for two counts of involuntary manslaughter.
And let's just tell people what an armourer is, in case it isn't immediately clear from the word, which isn't a word with which many of us are familiar. So that's a job on a film set.
Absolutely. It's the person who is effectively in charge of all the kind of weapons, all the guns, or any sword fighting, any shields, any sort of weapon, so to speak. That is an armourer. An armourer is there to make sure that all the safety precautions around those weapons and those items and those props are all followed to a T.
Yes.
So the armourer in this has been arrested as well, has been charged with those 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter.
And he is the man who handed Alec Baldwin the gun.
Well, no, so
so
Dave Halls, who is the assistant director of the film, and Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, so they were both inspecting, reportedly, of this weapon, and then one of those 2 handed Alec Baldwin the gun. They, according to previous reports, said it was a blank gun, it had a dummy round in. Obviously, that wasn't the case, and this tragic shooting of the cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, sadly occurred, and with a fatality on set. It was a real eye-opening moment for Hollywood, wasn't it?
Yes, and it's also true, isn't it, that Alec Baldwin was one of the producers of the film. So
yes.
He has a kind of responsibility beyond simply being an actor starring in the film, or indeed beyond being the guy that pulled the trigger.
And I think that's what this comes down to. It comes down to that role, and you know, being a producer on set, you are effectively responsible for the procedures, for the set culture, and because there is that extra credit there, and there was a culture on set, this fast and loose culture, as the district attorney said on set, that's what the decision has come down to. But what can be said is he still cooperated with police at every single step of this investigation. He has fulfilled those interview requirements as well. The assistant director that I mentioned as well, he's also struck a plea deal with prosecutors as well. He will be serving a suspended sentence plus 6 months probation.
Okay, so we'll watch this case obviously very carefully. I just can't help thinking that obviously it's appalling for the woman who lost her life, atrocious for the family, her family, terrible. But if Alec Baldwin, of course, had no intention of doing that, and imagine kind of involuntarily doing that.
And that's what the prosecutors are going to have to try and prove. There's going to have to try and say in court whether there was motive or not, or proper negligence behind it.
Right, let's talk about the BAFTA nominations.
Yes, they were released today. Huge shocker. Netflix's All Quiet on the Western Front, World War I period drama film, swept the nominations with 14 nods.
And so have you seen it? Because I haven't.
I have. It's very good, and very interestingly, this will apply to us as well. This was it was based on a book that was released, I believe, in obviously after World War I, but this book that it was based off was actually banned in Nazi Germany, and was one of the books that you would see with those book burnings as well. So very interesting story there. This is the first film that's not in an English language to get this amount of nominations at the BAFTAs, the most nominated non-English language film in BAFTA
so everyone
history.
Today is now going to go and watch it, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Find it on Netflix, because I haven't seen it. I would like to now.
But this is the thing. These sorts of films that people might not see beforehand, these are the sorts of films that benefit most from these awards, because people do go to the cinema or on the streaming services to then go and watch the films that you might not have seen. So it's a very interesting economy there. What we do know is Best Actress, I think it's going to be between Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh. Cate Blanchett, she won the Golden Globe and Critics' Choice Awards for her role in Tar. Michelle Yeoh won also her respective Globe, but the film that she's in, Everything Everywhere All at Once, also got 10 nominations today at the BAFTAs.
Have you seen that one?
I actually haven't seen that.
Do you have to see all these things if you're the award meister?
I will absolutely.
You're going to have to see every single one of them.
Every single one of these.
Quite good fun, actually.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
This is the thing. The amount of screenings we've bumped into each other at all over the years. I mean, they're the best.
Guess what happened last night? I was invited to the premiere of The Fabelmans, which is Steven Spielberg's new film, autobiography of his family. I was invited. I accepted. I don't get off air till 6:55. I charter a limo bike at my vast personal expense to get there in time. We roar up to the premiere. It's about 7:14.
Yeah.
They say, I'm just about to jump off the bike in graceful fashion. Some fellow comes out. He says, Vanessa Feltz. I say, yes. He says, you can't come in. I said, beg your pardon. He said, we've given your ticket away. It's 7:14, you're late. I said, but it's not a live show, it's a film, and I don't get off air till 6:55. And they said, you cannot come in.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I could not disembark the bike. I was not allowed in the door. They couldn't find one place for me to sit and secretly watch the film. I didn't see the film.
Well, whoever the public relations expert is on that one, we will be having words.
What do you think of that? I never got, because if I'd seen it, I could tell you it was wonderful or not. But I think
it's karma, because that film was actually snubbed at the BAFTA nominations. It only got one nod for original screenplay.
Interesting.
No nomination for best film.
And Colin Farrell?
Yes, he's been nominated in the best actor category. Another very interesting snub, though, Olivia Colman. 3rd year in a row. She has failed to receive a BAFTA nomination despite receiving a Golden Globe. She is a shoo-in to get a nomination at the Oscars later on this year.
Yes.
Paul Mescal, Normal People's Paul Mescal, receives
with the necklace, with the chain.
He receives his first ever BAFTA film nomination. So it's a very interesting one to watch.
And I've left you just over a minute, or just under if you prefer, to talk about Ekin-Su's costume, or lack thereof, on Dancing on Ice, because what's it generated apart from lots of excitement and titillation?
It has generated 112 complaints to Ofcom, Vanessa. So Ekin-Su, obviously winner of the last series of Love Island, very popular, 3 million followers on social media.
I presented an award with her.
Exactly,
she was
yes,
delightful.
you did.
I loved her.
Absolutely
she
delightful.
She had some clothes on, maybe not very many clothes, but she had a few garments of various different shapes and sizes on. She looked marvellous in it.
She had on this performance a nude stocking that was embellished with loads of little mirrors and diamante to cover that.
That's what we're both going to be wearing after this. What the heck? That is nothing to us. Nothing to us. Stop complaining about her. Ekin-Su forever. All right, I'd like to give my grateful thanks to you, Josh Rom. Thank you very much also to Susan, Holly, Amy, Macca, Harry of Tank Talk fame, and Mark, Jeremy, Kyle coming up from 7. Piers Morgan is on from 8, and I'll be back with you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Lots of love. Have a great evening. Bye.